Hi, everybody. Welcome today. I'm glad you're with us for the podcast. Today, I'm very excited to bring you Ekaterina. She's working in different parts of the world than I get to work in. She's done some incredible things, and she's one of these people that we think you really want to get to know. Her work has spanned over several countries, and she's really reached out and making a difference in the world. And we're going to kind of pick her brain a little bit and talk about some of the things that she wants to share with you, as well as how she got here and some of the interesting. Katerina, welcome, hon.
Thank you so much, Steve. Very happy to be here.
Glad you're with us. Thanks for being here. Okay, so tell me, how did you get started in this? You and I met years ago when I was doing a seminar with Barbara in Russia, and we. Yeah, I don't think you were doing any of the work at that time, were you?
No, not at all.
Well,
Absolutely. I was, when we first met, I was still in the corporate world and I was I was doing my soul search and, reading books. And actually, your workshop was the first spirituality workshop I went to at that time, the very
interesting.
first one. It just so happened. I think I'm so blessed to have that experience as my first experience in that world. And it was amazing. And it touched my heart so deeply that. It influenced me and still influencing me in my life, and I will share all the details, but wanted to give you a word back in case you want to say something else, and then I will continue with my story.
Sure. No. What were you doing in the corporate world? What kind of work were you doing?
Well, I was in Procter and Gamble. I had a career path there, changing different things, what I was doing, and it took me 4 years to realize that even though I was pretty successful, I mean, I was rated one in um, whole company, which is like 5%, and I got a reward that only 2% of the company gets. And I was really going fast in my career, and was doing great. And everybody was saying, "Well, you're so young, you're so lucky to be in such a company and have such a great start and everything." And then after 4 years, I realized that's not what I want to do in my life,
Interesting.
and I quit. And everybody was like, "What are you doing? This is crazy. Nobody quits a career like that, out of nowhere. Like, where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm not even sure where I'm going, but I am going."
But I'm going. I'm taking the steps. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. I
yeah.
bet that was scary too. You.
I don't think I really had an option not to do that. It was very strong at that time that, I just knew I needed to do that. And I also had some experiences that showed me that I have to pretty much. I started having spiritual experiences by that time already. And one of them was that after a trip to Nepal, I had a Buddhist monk touch me by forehead. And after that, I started seeing things that people don't see. And when
Awesome.
after 3 days, I came back to after my vacation. I came back to the Moscow city, and I saw that in energetic sense, uh, it was such a heavy energy. It looked like oil.
Interesting.
I was seeing energetic fields of people. I was seeing vibrations and energies, and I could see when people lied to each other because their energy was telling different things that their words were saying. It was amazing. It was really interesting. But when I got into that field, it was very heavy and very thick, and people looked like they were almost blind. And they told me at the same time that if I stay there, my ability will evaporate in 1 day,
Right.
and it did. But at that time, I was hesitating. Should I stay? Should I not stay? But at that time, when I had that experience, I kind of like, I had no other option. I knew I had to go. There were no other options. So it wasn't about fear at that time. I had to do it. And so, regardless of my career, of everything, it was that step of faith that I'm being guided, that I have to do it. And that's also when you came in. I mean,
I was going to say I
just
know
to,
that feeling.
yeah, yeah, you know that feeling.
I've had that.
You have to do that change. And so the first time we met, it was your workshop. I want to start the story before that point. So it was before my decision to exit. I was just entering all of this magical world and thinking like, wow, this is so amazing. People who have this ability of channeling are so blessed. They're so special. They're different. And when I came to a workshop, I had this really um, connection with home, and it started with you saying that I know you. When you recognized me at the soul level, that's the first thing that you said to me.
Was
I
it?
know you. Yes, and you said something about me being a potential alternative contract as one of yours and Barbara's children, which you could have had like a big amount. I'm not sure, but it wasn't about that mostly. But that feeling of me recognizing you and then you returning it back to me was magical because I never had that before. People don't tell that to each other, normally.
Right.
And that expanded me a lot. And then you showed, I was at the pineal gland activation workshop, and you showed all the techniques on me. And so you kind of like invited me into your magical world. That's how I felt. And
Thank
so 1 year later,
you. Yes.
I exited the company. I started my project. I opened up a place where people could do different practices and meditations and do yoga. But I wasn't doing my work yet. I was thinking, okay, I'm a good organizer, I'm a good manager. I can create a space for people to be enlightened. That's what I thought at that time. And I did. I used my savings for that. And I was all excited. And then you came again a year later to Russia, and I came to a session with you. And that time I was pregnant with my son, and my son is 14 now.
Wow.
So, no, 13, 13. So,
Awesome.
it's been a long time. So, before, when we first met, I think it was like 15 years ago. So, yeah. So, the session was 14 years ago because he's 13 now. But what you said at that time, so I was coming to the session expecting that you would say, "Good job, girl! You're working, you exited the company, you're doing the right thing." And you told me a completely different story. You said, "Well, you haven't even started yet, darling." Like, oh, what? Why? What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? And you said, I don't remember now all the details, but the main idea was that you're just like making your light brighter, and eventually you will be, well, not like you will be, you are a teacher for teachers, you said.
Right.
And I was like, what teacher for what teachers? What do you mean? So I had no idea at that time that I will be also doing the work you are doing. But what happened when I was at your workshop, I now remembered it. I was sitting in the audience. There were about like 75 people in the audience. We were in a nice hotel. It was all beautiful organized. You were there with Barbara, sitting. And of course, I knew you were traveling the world. And I was looking at you and thinking, that's my dream. I want to do the same. I
There
want
you
to
go.
travel the
Perfect.
world doing my workshops like that. And, sharing wisdom with people. And so I had that feeling of, that's something I would also like to do, but I had no idea at that time what, how, whatsoever. So I started with just opening up a little space that wasn't really paying off at all, and all of that. But at least I felt that I'm moving, I'm doing my steps, I'm doing some kind of work to
Right.
start with. And then you told me that I'm supposed to be sharing wisdom, and I had no clue. And of course, it took me some years to get there. And I also saw some dreams that showed me that I'll be on the stage and all of that. And I had no idea how, about what, how it's going to happen. But I had that trust and that feeling that I'll get there somehow. And it was a long walk. I mean, it took me years. It took me years to get there. But my reality now is exactly what you shared at that time,
That's
which I had no
incredible.
idea about, because I am doing part of the work that the group said that everybody will be channeling eventually. And I'm working on that too, because several years ago, about 8 years ago, I realized I could channel too. I mean, it just also happened to me spontaneously, and then I started
Right.
exploring, and then I started sharing it with people, and then I started teaching it eventually. So now, after some time, um, I realized that it's not some special ability that I thought in the beginning. That yes, it is a gift, but it's something that you can open up. It's something that you can actually
Correct.
develop. And
Correct.
I analyzed how it happened to me, and I put it together as a course. And
Awesome.
now it so happened that I have the biggest channeling school in all post USSR countries in
Incredible.
Russian. So for Russian speaking people, but concerning like how many countries, I think I have over 50 countries in terms of students from different countries, but they're all Russian speaking because that's the audience I serve.
Right. Sure.
Some of them say, why don't you do it in English? And I say, well, maybe one of these days, but there are other teachers in English, you know.
It sounds like you're pretty busy. Yeah.
I am.
So that,
I am.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's perfect.
Yeah, and that's not the only course I have. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, I have a big online school. It's in top 100 online schools in Russia in across all different topics. So I feel very fortunate to be able to share openly this spiritual knowledge
That's
across my
magical.
audience. And I also mix it with psychology because just for people to be more comfortable, I went and got the traditional education. I have master's degree in psychology, and
Incredible.
so I can explain things in a mix. So it's easier for people to incorporate it, you know, to let it be more comfortable for them.
Very magical. So
Uh,
you went and got your master's degree after all this?
Yes, exactly.
Incredible.
Just because I needed to, and the guides told me that I had to do it because I had some resistance. Like, why do I need to have a degree if I'm already doing my work? I'm already serving people, you know? And they said, no, I have to do it because it will open up more doors for me. And it did. It did because some people, when you say some of this, you know, spiritual
Right.
things, channeling, regression, blah blah blah, they're like, ah, well, yeah, I don't know what that is. But when you say, okay, you know, I have master's degree in psychology, and I also expand my work in exploring other things, then they're kind of more open to it. So
That's
it did
incredible.
open more doors, and I'm happy I did it. And it helped me also to ground some of the knowledge,
True.
um, you know. So I'm really glad I did it.
So you're traveling quite a bit right now. Is that where most of your work is, or most of your work online?
It's a mix, more online these days for a number of reasons. Obviously, it's more difficult to travel from Russia, at least. But I have been doing for also about 15 years tours and retreats around the world.
Oh, good.
I visited about over 20 countries with my events and spoken in different places. So it's also a part of my work, but it's not the main part at this time, at least. Yeah, and of course I do also offline events like the one I invited you to be. Of course, you can only join online, but you're the only speaker who is allowed to be online. Everybody else has to
So
come.
the event that you're doing, which is coming up this weekend, it,
Yes, it is. It's on
coming up pretty soon.
Saturday, October 5th.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's coming up pretty soon. So anyway, the event is all in person. It's in Moscow.
Yes. It's in
Excellent.
Moscow. Yeah.
Well, I'm very honored to be there and be able to be online with you guys. That's very magical. We're looking forward to it a lot. Well, that's really magical. So tell me about the beginning. That this is where a lot of our people start because a lot of our people get into this and they very similar story. They start off thinking, "Oh, I just want to see what this guy has, or I want to see what channeling's all about, or something, and try it on." And then they start moving into it, and that's many times the challenge is those first steps to be able to figure out the best way to do it. Did you write? Did you write a book? Did you do this all online? How did that work for you?
Well, it's a very good question, and a lot of people have this question, I know, but I didn't try it. For some reason, it's something that I've been wanting to do since childhood, but
Right.
still haven't done. And I'm probably still um, preparing for it at some level. But for me, what worked was so I was doing my one-on-one work and small group work, and growing slowly with just word of the mouth, and I didn't touch any kind of marketing for years because it didn't feel right for a very long time. And it started later when I created a school and I needed to
Right.
keep it all up working and going. So I did start with marketing later, but when I already had a pretty big team. And the first steps, what helped me was to work with another master. I think that also helps very much because after meeting you, you stopped coming to Russia very soon after that. And there was another channeler that I met first through books, just same as you, and then through his personal work. And I became one of the organizers for him to come to
Ah,
Russia. Sal Ray Kelly. I don't know if you heard of this name or not,
who is it?
but Sal Ray Kelly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have. Yes, I have. Good.
So I
Awesome.
worked with him for a number of years as a translator and as an organizer. And so I combined my work, my personal work, with assisting his work, and it worked out amazingly because uh, working with him as a translator, I spent a lot of time being in channel, and that's how I learned how to channel,
Right.
really, because
Right.
I started feeling it when, I started receiving messages before he said it,
Right.
before I translated. You know how that works. So that really helped me to develop my skills on one hand, and on the other hand, of course, I met a lot of people because they were coming to him and they were getting to know me, and so
Right.
that was kind of, because for some people the book is the way how people get to know you, and for me,
Well,
um,
it
it was a
used to
different
be.
path.
It used to
Yeah.
be the only way that people could do, and now everything is opened up in so many different ways. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's true. You can do a lot of things online, and but I
Right.
went online later. Actually, it was also like, I shared some of my thoughts and ideas and thought of the day kind of thing, and
Right.
I started YouTube. So it all came together. It combined. So little bit from here, little bit from there, and started getting together. And people liked my work, and they kept coming, and it kept growing. So after years it developed. It wasn't like a quick jump because some one event happened. It was
Right.
just path of growth
Little
where I
by
had
little. Yeah.
focus. Yes, and I like to compare it with a tree. The tree grows by rings, and every year you have to work to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, and that's how it happened to me.
Beautiful way. Beautiful way to put it. That's magical. And you're pretty busy with Instagram. It looks like too. You've got a pretty good following over there from what I've seen. That's
Yeah,
magical.
true. But now I have a team helping with that. So it's not just me doing all the work. I wouldn't be able to live my life if I
Right.
did all of it myself.
Right. I know that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, I'm done with trying to do everything myself. It doesn't work. You just get to emotional. I don't know how to say it in English, but you burn out. You burn
Yes.
out
Exactly.
trying to do everything. So yeah, so I have a team helping me, and I'm in the point where I feel comfortable with everything working. I'm doing my work, they're doing their work, and I'm fine with that.
Magical. Magical. Incredible. So you're doing a lot of work with the school. You're doing some special events in Russia, but also other countries too. You just got back from Turkey, did you not?
Yeah, well, that was a personal trip, but this
Ah,
year I already did three retreats. One was in Japan, one in China, one in Iceland.
marvelous.
Oh no, and in Turkey as well. Yes, and one was in Turkey. So four retreats, five, one in Russia. So, so yeah, I do have a pretty busy schedule.
Oh, that's so magical. That's wonderful. It's incredible. That's part of the part of what we experienced too when we were traveling to different places where we needed translators. We needed translators in South America. We needed translators in Japan and different places that we went, and Russia. And the fascinating part about that is they all came to me. All of my translators ended up coming to me and saying the same thing that you're talking about. I think I'm channeling the group. I think I'm getting it just before you're saying it. And we that was kind of a commonality. And then we found that sometimes people that would come to the seminars regularly, the regulars that were always there in the front row, they were getting it too. They could
Yes.
almost tell kind of what was happening. So it was really a fascinating way to do things, and really a beautiful connection. It was just very magical.
I have that happen in my groups as well because people in my meditations, even online meditations, it's the same thing. People do get
Right.
in the channel and they get it before you even say it.
Yep.
And then you say it and they say, well, we just experienced it before you said it, you know? So it's absolutely normal. And I now tell people exactly the same thing that you in the group say, that it's a natural thing.
Oh
You
yeah.
just have to open up to it and
It's
it shows up, you know?
it's very
And I
natural.
also have a lot of proofs for that with my students, and so it's beautiful.
So what would you like to say to everybody? What is on your plate right now? What are you working with? What do you have for the world that you'd like to share with us?
Well, probably won't be unique, but it's something that that's the main thing in my path, and something that's universal for everyone. You have to follow your passion. You have to follow your passion, no matter how hard it is, and you have to be very honest with yourself. Very honest in what you truly feel, what you truly want, because we're so good at making up stories about why we're
Yes.
not doing something, why we have reasons
Yeah.
not to, blah, blah, blah. But, this is lying. This is lying to self, but there's no point of doing that. It's betraying yourself, you know?
Yep.
So I'm all about, and I always push for that. Yeah, the path is not always hard, and I've had ups and downs, and I've had months where I went in like my expenses were more than my what we made, and I had I had to take out money from my pockets to have it going, and different things happen throughout times. I mean, I had a lot of personal changes, divorces, all of that, and life is life. It will always bring something to work on, but it doesn't mean you have excuses not to continue
That's
your
true.
path and your passion and your life. And if you feel that calling, there's no way. I mean, there are ways people manage to not to follow, but
Yeah,
it's
but
a path to misery.
yeah, but
And
when you see that smile on your face and that glow that you have, you understand what's happening, because when you're on your spirit's purpose like that, you're walking in harmony with your spirit every day, and that is just a different lifestyle. Sometimes it doesn't fit in the world. Sometimes you run into problems. Sometimes I've had to do the same thing, take money out of my own accounts to pay for something or to figure out something. I asked a group about that sometimes. I said, well, will you help me with money? And they laughed at me. They thought that was so funny, because they said, this is a game that you make up inside of another game, inside of another game that's built on perception of perception, and you want us to tell you where it's going? They thought that was hilarious. So anyway, the reality
it
is
is
we
a
get,
quite interesting game. That's very
yeah,
true.
I know. So anyway, we all got to step through it, but it is so joyous to see what you're doing and how you're affecting the world, hon. You're really making a difference here with a lot of the energies that you're working with, and I am just so incredibly proud of you. I really am. We adopted daughters all over the world, and some of them have just incredibly blown up and done their own thing, and it's just absolutely magical to watch. So we're so honored to have you here with us too. So
Thank you
what
so,
would you
so
like to
much.
share with? Go
I
ahead.
actually share about you on many of my webinars, especially on the channeling webinar when I share with people about this option to learn channeling. I always tell them about you and about your prediction in my life and how it all came together and how
Oh,
channeling
nice.
seemed something out there and amazing but unreachable to where it's to where it's here, and it's your impact in my life. Even though we met just a very few times, every time was kind of like a push towards my mission, and So there's so much gratitude to you in my heart and so much admiration that you
Oh, thank you.
continue your work no matter what, no matter the losses, the changes, everything. You still shine bright as much as years ago, and I'm so grateful for you keeping up with that beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. And we miss the Russian family. I got to tell you, we weren't able to continue going there for a while, but we really miss the people. The people are just absolutely incredible, and I'm so happy that you're doing this and reaching out, not just in Russia, but all the Russian-speaking family. It's just absolutely incredible. So good job, my dear. Good job. I'm really proud of
So
you.
much.
Any
Thank
any
you.
final thing you'd like to share with the audience before we leave?
Before I do, I want to say that I think my work is, in a way, prolongation of your work.
It's
I
beautiful.
like this vision of drops in the water and circles coming out. So your work extended in my work, and then my students, it extends further, and it continues and goes like that. And
Oh,
so
that really
thank you
touches
so
my heart. Thank you so much. You really touched me with this. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you so much. I do feel it like that, very much so. And final words. Keep your hearts alive. Keep your passion going. Keep your eyes steering sometimes. And this is how life is, and it's beautiful.
How would people reach you? Or how can they tell us about your website? It's a podcast, so some of it's going to go out in audio and some of it will go out in video. So tell us how they can reach you, how they can find you.
Well, I best probably to give you the link to my website. It's all in Russian, so
Okay.
won't help
So the
English speaking
Cyrillic will
audience
not
at
come
all.
across. Okay.
Yes, yes, I don't have much happening in English yet, even though I've been having people asking for it for a while. But it's coming in the future, I believe. I think it will be, and but just not there yet, being too busy with the Russian audience so far. So yes, I can share my Instagram, I can share my website, my YouTube. Some of them can be translated, like YouTube can be translated,
Right.
as you know. But yeah, most of it is still in Russian so far.
We'll put it in links for people so they can find out where you're at and follow you if they wish and so forth to do it. And if you need help with the English language, I'm here, my dear. I would love to open
Well,
some doors
thank you
for you.
so much. Thank you so
I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing your work with us and the energy that you're working with. We all need this, when I started this whole process, my wife Barbara was probably my biggest critic because she said only the Pope talks to God, and you're not the Pope. She basically said we have that clear really quick. So it took a while for her, but in the beginning it was very strange to have channels, to have people speaking to spirit like this. And today, thanks to you and the work that we're doing and so many others, it's becoming commonplace, exactly like the group said. And
It is
I
exactly.
believe we all tapped into it anyway. I think the photographer calls it inspiration, and the musician plays it, brings it through in a different way, and we all tend to tap into this energy. But when we can really tap into that heart energy and bring that through for not only ourselves but for other people, it's magical. And I'm very, very proud of you. Very proud of you,
Thank you so much.
Ekaterina. Good job.
I'm
Good
so
job.
grateful to be able to be in touch with you after so many years,
Yeah.
and be able to share, because my success in a way is yours too. You showed me this path. So thank you so much.
Absolutely my honor, my dear. Absolutely my honor. So we will play together. I'll bring you back. We'll keep updated here with our groups as to what's going on with you. But wanted to introduce you. We're with this podcast. We're trying to bring people on that I know people would love to get to know, and you are absolutely one of them. So thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm very happy and very honored to be here.
Espavo, sweetheart. I love you. We'll
Love
talk
you
to you later.
too. Bye.
And that worked out rather well. We're so glad to see that. We'll find your links on our website here and other places as well. So thank you for being with us. And that's the backstory for this segment. Enjoy, and we will be back again with backstory from espavo.org.